Welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play Steins. In the last episode, we thought we were victorious. We had managed to get Moeka Kiryu's phone, and unfortunately it seems that past Moeka is a little bit too diligent for her own good. Basically what happened was that we sent the D-mail back into the past, trying to warn Moeka away from the Yanabayashi shrine where the IBN 5100 is being kept, to no avail, unfortunately, because she went ahead and got it anyway. Thus, there was absolutely no change to the world line whatsoever. The only way we can convince Moeka's past self to abandon the operation is to acquire the phone of Moeka's handler, FB. And that's exactly what we're going to have to resort to, because annoyingly enough, it turns out that SERN haven't yet acquired the IBN 5100. Moeka delivered it to the designated drop-off point, which surprisingly enough is the coin locker in Iberia of all places. Unfortunately for Rintaro, the moment he even breathes near the coin locker that is keeping the IBN 5100, a police car appears out of nowhere due to some sort of weird magical world line nonsense. And having already received 2 severe warnings from the police, that basically means we will basically have to tail the Rounders when they eventually come for the IBN. And we're going to have Moeka help us. Moeka frowns.
FB が回収しに来た時に会えるということだ。
You get to meet FB, and we get our hands on the IBN 5100. And even though Moeka previously said that she would never betray FB, even though FB has clearly abandoned her now that she's outlived her usefulness, it seems that she does actually really want to meet the person who was her supposed benefactor, even though said benefactor was basically lying and manipulating Moeka from the very beginning.
その発想はなかったか？ラウンダーのくせに冷静さが欠けているぞ、お前。
Indeed, Moeka Kiryu was just another pawn. Not very important in the SERN echelon.
俺は張り込んでみようと思う。お前は？
We are going to confront FB. You can come if you want, you can stay if you want. But we are going to find FB. It's not like you have anything to lose anymore, save your life, which will expire in the next 3 days, I believe.
会ってどうするの？
All we want is the IBN. That's all we need.
FB に携帯を借りる。
Unfortunately, getting our hands on the IBN itself is going to be an absolute impossibility. So we need FB's phone. That's the best way to prevent Moeka from going to Yanabayashi Shrine. And the reason we can't get our hands on the IBN 5100 is unfortunately due to the world line convergence. So even if we manage to intercept the Rounders, and something will basically happen that will inevitably prevent us from actually having the IBN, let alone using it.
会えない。会う勇気ない。 幻滅される。
Something already tells me that you've already lived up to the expectations of FB. The diligent little puppet that you are.
お前はとっくに幻滅されているか。最初から期待すらされていなかった。
Moeka's face contorts again. After all, we are basically dealing with an organization that has sent people back in time only to have them, basically be rendered into jellymen. And given the fact that they did this 100 times, it's safe to say that SERN and the Committee of 300 will basically think absolutely nothing of the life of Moeka Kiryu. I'm being blunt, not only because Moeka is Mayuri's murderer, but also because Moeka's weakness is starting to get on my nerves. And we can't have any weaknesses at this point. Just like Daru's mail said, the locker is still occupied when I get there. I look around to make sure there are no patrol cars. Unfortunately, as I've just mentioned, the moment we even touch the locker in question, a police car is going to magically appear out of nowhere because of some world-line convergence bullshit. No crowbars this time. I don't feel like getting arrested. I call hacks, by the way. I head across the street to Daibiru, hide behind one of its humongous pillars, and begin the stakeout. Too bad we don't have an actual steak or a burger or a Dr. Pepper, but I suppose we'll have to do without. My legs are getting tired. It's already the afternoon. I was going to borrow Mayuri's portable game console, but I decided I didn't need the distraction. After all, when the Rounders show up, we need to be ready to tell them at a moment's notice. Still, it's pretty tough to keep standing like this. I also need to stay inconspicuous, and knowing Rintaro, he's probably still wearing his lab coat. Someone might notice if they see me standing in the same place for hours. I wouldn't want a security guard to give me trouble. So long, I don't think a security guard will arrest us for loitering. SERN's Rounders, on the other hand, different matter altogether. I mean, I guess there's not much worry about that. I've already been here for 7 hours without incident. My legs are numb, so I squat and lean against the pillar. If SERN ends up showing up tomorrow, or the 15th, for example, that's going to be really unfortunate. So hungry, should have grabbed a burger. I'd love to go get some food, but I can't take my eyes off the locker. Just then, someone taps me on the shoulder. Is it FB? And just like that, we got mail. You need to look at this. It's a reply from Kurisu. Contact me, idiot. Maybe this isn't what you want to hear, but you need to listen. I don't care about Aomori anymore. I just want you to be safe, Okabe. When you ran out without saying anything yesterday, it felt like my heart was going to explode. So please hurry back. It seems that Kurisu Makase is clearly worried about Rintaro Okabe. Meanwhile, back to the person who tapped us on the shoulder. I try to leap to my feet, but my legs get tangled and I fall over. It's just Moeka. Moeka is standing there, looking down at me with those glassy eyes.
Oh my. なんでここに?
Apparently, Moeka's curiosity to meet FB got the better of her.
私も張り込みを。
So she's decided to help us after all, in spite of what happened, what we did to her.
ダメかな。
We have no real reason to refuse her help.
なぜ心変わりした？
She doesn't seem to really have a reason other than meeting FB, or the person who may or may not be FB. I stand up and dust off my clothes. FB or not FB? That is the question. Yeah, I know, that was a terrible
FB との
pun.
メールだけの関係に居心地の良さを感じていた。その適度な距離感に依存していたはず。なのになぜ今さら一歩を踏み出そうと思った？
このままじゃ。
Moeka puts her head on her knees. She looks ready to cry. I think she's finally realized the reality of her current situation. I've seen that expression once before, in a moonlit apartment.
FB からの連絡がなくなったら、私、世界とのつながりが。
Basically, FB is Moeka Kiryu's entire world.
断絶されるか。
Sad as it is. Moeka nods faintly.
孤独に耐えられないくらい弱いのに FB の命令さえあれば容赦なく人も殺せるとはな。
Truly a tragic turn of events.
典型的な狂信者だよお前は。
I believe you originally called her a male demon. And her cult leader, FB, abused her weakness before throwing her out like old clothes. That really pisses me off. You and me both. Moeka's cruelty... Oh, FB's cruelty. Moeka's weakness. I can't decide which I hate more. Probably both. Then, Moeka nervously brings out a convenience store bag.
なんだこれは。
Blackmail, most likely. She brought us the one thing that we could not risk to get ourselves. Food. Instead of answering, Moeka looks away. I look inside.
おお、パックの牛乳とアンパン。
Well, we've been standing here 7 hours, so it's understandable that we're absolutely famished. But now it seems like Moeka is the one with the leverage. Exactly what you need on a stakeout. There's enough for two.
もしかして差し入れか？
Moeka nods.
よし、許可する。お前も張り込みを手伝え。
Well, the fact that you actually brought us something to eat, we can, you are forgiven for the moment. Now we can take turns watching, and we'll also look less conspicuous to, or at least suspicious, sorry, to passers-by. Suspicious, conspicuous, same thing. And once more we play the waiting game. The night draws on, and there's still no sign of FB. Or the SERN Rounders, for that matter. We nap in 1-hour shifts, but it doesn't help the exhaustion. On top of that, I don't have anyone to talk to. Moeka can't keep a conversation going, so there's nothing I can do to starve off this boredom. I went back to the lab to shower just before dawn, but Kurisu, who was working an all-nighter on the time loop machine, just glared at me. That's right. If something happens, we'll have to wait until tomorrow before the time leap machine is complete. Can't hurry that, I'm afraid. Blame Worldline Convergence. The wait finally ends just after 1 PM on the 13th. We waited 24 hours for this. Someone comes to open the lower right locker. We watch from behind the pillar. It's a nondescript middle-aged man. He's dressed in a new suit, but it hangs rather poorly on him, as if he's not used to wearing it. That's certainly suspicious indeed.
あいつが FB か。
Well, considering the fact that Moeka has never met FB, she shakes her head firmly.
FB は女性よ。
I believe I mentioned something in a previous episode about internet fraud. FB could be playing you for a chump. Indeed, FB has been playing you for a chump this whole time, Moeka Kiryu.
となると雇われて回収しに来た人間かもしれない。
Or maybe FB is actually pretending to be a woman. Or it could be someone from the locker company to clear it out after weeks overdue. I don't think that's the case. That would make us all idiots, Moeka, FB and me. I don't think SERN would leave anything to chance. The man has the key to the locker. He pays the late fee with 100 yen coins, then removes the cardboard box with the IBN 5100 inside. Son of a bitch, it was right there in front of our noses. Unfortunately, thanks to World Line Convergence BS, we can't even touch the thing. The man thought ahead and brought a pushcart. He puts the IBN on the pushcart with a bit of effort and begins walking away.
おうぞ。
He'd certainly have to be a SERN Rounder if he can carry that by himself, although he still needs the pushcart to help him. The man heads straight for Akihabara Station. Strangely enough, he walks up to an overweight man standing in front of the ticket machine. The overweight man is wearing a t-shirt and has all the signs of an otaku. He doesn't seem to have anything in common with the first guy, who looks like an average salaryman. They transfer the IBN into the overweight man's suitcase. So, the Rounders are everywhere, unfortunately. And given that they're not directly tied to SERN in any official capacity, that's going to make them hard to spot. Well, we really shouldn't be surprised given how many SERN Rounders were stationed throughout Akihabara to stop us from getting out of town altogether. After they exchanged a few words, the overweight man enters the station alone. Then the guy in the suit leaves.
妙だな。
Weird indeed from a normal point of view, Rintaro, but unfortunately I get the nagging feeling that this is one of many transfers. It seems that FB and the Rounders certainly don't take anything chance. What was the purpose of that transfer? I only have one reason, Rintaro, to confuse any possible tailgaters, such as ourselves. Is the overweight man FB, or is he just another link in some kind of chain? I would say the latter is almost certainly correct. At any rate, if we keep following the IBN, we should reach FB eventually. Unfortunately, if we lose track of one of the transfers, we're going to have to time leap and do this all over again. And if we get intercepted, that's even worse. We enter the station. Let's see where this leads. The overweight man boards the Yamanote line. We board We board on the next car and keep watch through the connecting door. It's a weekday afternoon, so there aren't many passengers. 30 minutes later we arrive at Shinjuku Station. Here the train sees a sharp increase in passenger traffic. Well, that's not good. At this rate, we might actually lose our target. Is getting off. That was Moeka, by the way. Moeka pulls on my sleeve. The overweight man has slipped into the stream of departing passengers. He's about to exit onto the platform. We follow him, but due to our slow reaction, we have to push our way through the boarding passengers. The train doors close and it slowly departs. The man starts walking towards the exit. Shinjuku is crowded, so we have to follow close behind or we'll lose him. But then I stop in my tracks. The man is empty-handed. Oh, you have got to be shitting me. His suitcase is missing. For a second, I think we followed the wrong man, but no, it's definitely him. We watched him the whole time he was on the train. There's no doubt he had the suitcase when the train arrived in Shinjuku, which can only mean one thing. He left the suitcase on the train. Well, once again, it appears that we have definitely fucked up, as it were. But fortunately, we have a small slight ace in the hole in the form of the time leap machine. Bit of an inconvenience, but we're probably going to have to use it. I think it's safe to say that he definitely... I don't think he passed it to someone in the crowd. I think he left it on the train. These SERN Rounders are pretty slippery fish. They know how to lose a tail. Well, they are certainly professionals in that capacity. So back in time we go. Hopefully we don't have to... hopefully this doesn't take too long. And we don't make too many wrong turns. But, let's do this again. At least we start back on the train. I suppose that's a one advantage of the time leap machine. I return to the lab and leap an hour back. I find myself inside the train. I know it's bad manners to use my phone on the train, but this is certainly an emergency. According to the train's display, we're about to leave Otsuka for Ikebukuro, 3 stops to Shinjuku. Moeka is next to me, acting inconspicuous. I peek at the overweight man in the next car.
新宿駅で仕掛けてくるさ。
Indeed. And by that we mean that he will leave the train, but the suitcase will remain. And of course, Moeka has no idea what we're talking about, given the fact that she doesn't know about time leaping. Let's keep it that way.
降りたと見せかけて荷物を別の人間に受け渡す。さっきはまんまと引っかかった。
He's a clever one, but not too clever for Hoen Kiyoma.
さっき
Not yet. Doesn't look like Moeka's caught on yet.
俺は1時間後からタイムリープしてきた。
Probably shouldn't have told her about that.
タイムリープ
Not that we can help it now. Moeka's eyes widen. The train arrives at Shinjuku on schedule. Just to make sure, I'll have Moeka follow the man when he gets off. Before the doors open, I stealthily move to his car. He still has the suitcase with the IBM 5100.
Shinjuku.
Doors open and passengers spew out. The overweight man leaves too, just like last time. However, not this time. He leaves the suitcase on the train. And now passengers from Shinjuku board, and one of them is another rounder. Someone walks up to the abandoned suitcase. It's a woman in her 30s pushing a baby stroller. There's no baby. Yep, another rounder. The woman casually loads the suitcase into her stroller and sits down. After witnessing that scene, I return to the neighboring car. Clever, but not clever enough. I need to be careful. These guys are serious about avoiding pursuit. And if they're anything like Moeka, which I'm certain that they are, they're armed and dangerous. The train starts moving. We're back on track. I contact Moeka so that we can regroup later. So apparently Moeka is following the other man. Unfortunately, that's a dead end. But never mind that. After that incident, the package swaps couriers like a hot potato, snaking around the tracks that run through Tokyo like a web. Whenever they give me the slip, I time leap and resume the chase. Finally, the courier and package get aboard the Hibiya line, and return to Akihabara Station, where it all began. They definitely love running people round in circles. I recognize the last courier. He's one of the men who raided the lab with Moeka. Unfortunately, in this situation, Moeka no longer has any real influence among the Rounders. Dark skin, crew cut, the one who hit me with his gun. The one who referred to Moeka as M4 when she revealed that she was in fact working for SERN. The man easily carries a 25-kilo package out of the station. We follow. I do not think that he's under Moeka's authority. Not that I'd actually sincerely doubt that he ever was. A car honks its horn. Moeka and I immediately hide. Don't want to get spotted. Peeking up from cover, I see a white flatbed parked in front of the station. A muscular man hops out of the driver's seat.
Eh?
I know that face. No, it can't be. I desperately try to organize my thoughts. That's Yugo Tanuji, owner of the Brawn Tube Workshop. Mr. Brawn. Why? Why is he here? I can only guess. Does this mean that he's connected to FB? To the Rounders? Was the Brawn Tube Workshop just a front for CERN? Is that how we could afford to keep it open? What is going on here? I would definitely love to know the answer to that question. His shop is right below the lab. If he's working for the enemy, then... I shiver at the thought. Back in the previous world line, you may remember if you watched that particular episode where Moeka first raided the lab with the SERN Rounders in tow. You may remember if you were paying attention that I said that I really wished that we had Tanuji in our corner when that raid went down, because we needed a man of his caliber to help stand up against CERN's Rounders. I now retract that statement wholeheartedly, knowing that he is now involved with the very people. Stop. Let's not rush to conclusions. He might just be another courier. We watch from a distance. Tanuji takes the suitcase from the crew cut man and loads it into the back of his car. Then he gets into the car alone and takes off towards Shoadori. I stare after it in disbelief. Tanuji, of all people, involved with SERN. But is he another pawn, like Moeka? Well, we won't know the answer to that question until we actually confront him directly. I time leap several hours to before the first man arrived at the coin locker. Then I explain the situation to Moeka. My plan is to get ahead of the package. So this time, instead of following the suitcase over again and trying to decept it, we're going to stop at the end destination. After killing some time at Starbucks, we rent a car. I don't have a license, so Moeka's driving. That's certainly very convenient. We go to the street in front of the roundabout, facing Shoadori, and park near Yodobashi Camera. Now we wait. Killing time once again.
緊張しているのか。肩に力が入りすぎているぞ。運転歴はどれぐらいだ。
ペーパー。
You have a driver's license, and this is your first time driving. I'm terrified.
ペーパーってペーパードライバーということか。勘弁してくれ。事故るなよ。
Be afraid, Rintaro. Be very, very afraid. I was surprised Moeka had a license in the first place. Apparently FB would told her it would come in handy for around her work. Probably for identification purposes, most likely. I have Moeka wait in the car while I keep a lookout on the roundabout. The white station wagon is already stopped there. From this distance, I can clearly see Tanuji in the driver's seat. The man who owns the building that houses the Brawn Tube workshop and the Future Gadget laboratory. The man who owes his very livelihood to the part-time warrior whom he hired for 10 short days. A man who unfortunately is working with our most dire enemy. But I believe that is going to be it for this episode of Let's Play Steins Gate. In the next episode, when we return, we shall intercept the IBN 5100 and confront Tanuji in the process and finally get some real answers. And see what his connection to SERN's Rounders could possibly be. As always, adventurers, until next we meet.